Hi class, in this video you're going to learn how to write a works cited page for your essay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the PowerPoint for some instruction. You might have been asked, I need a works cited page for this essay, or your professor's asking you for a works cited page, right? Well, what is it? It's pretty much just a listing of all the sources utilized in your essay. It's there to help the readers understand who you're citing, where is that information coming from, when was it published, letting us know basically the references that you take a look at. The second thing, it's also a guide to help readers find your sources. So you'll note if it's a publication as a book or a magazine or a newspaper, or if, let's say it's a tweet or a video or it's a journal article, you'll add the links, you'll tell us where they're from, what year were they published, etc., etc. That all helps your readers find the sources that you noted. So in case we want to look back or go read for more information, that's the works cited pages there to help us. It also helps establish your credibility and trustworthiness between you and the audience. Particularly for students, you want to make sure that your professor finds that your sources are credible. So remember, make sure that they're up to date, they're from reliable sources or news sources or academic journals that are peer reviewed. It also builds the trust between you and the reader, right? Because if you're trying to persuade or inform, you want to make sure that your sources make sense, that they're logically used, that they are updated, that they're current, that they're from credible places, they're from peer-reviewed journals or from certain professional organizations. This is why the works cited page is so important for your essay. Now, next, what's MLA style? I'm sure you've been asked, this needs to be an MLA style. Well, the MLA is the Modern Language Association. Every so many years, they get together to write and update the rules for MLA style, which is what we use in the humanities, so literature classes, humanities classes. We use this type of writing style. And so it gives us the kind of format we write our essays, how to put our header, how do we quote, how to do a works cited page. So all that comes from the MLA, and that's how we do it. There's, of course, other styles like APA or Chicago, but for this course, humanities courses and literature courses, we use MLA style. Okay. Now, the most updated version is the 8th edition, and that gives you a simplified format. If you look here on the right, you have 9 categories you should fill out. If your book or your title or your journal has any of this information available to you, you fill that in and you'll be able to complete your citation. Note specifically the punctuation at the end there. Period, period. Then you have commas right after all that until number 9, you have another period. So the punctuation does change. That is something that you want to keep mind of. Now, if your sources has none of these containers, some of these parts here, you don't have to fill that in. You can just skip that, right? So let's take a look at a sample to see how this would work out. All right, now that was from the link we just looked at. Here you have an essay in a book collection, right? So this is the Cambridge Companion to Jane Austen, edited by Edward Copeland. And particularly, we're looking at the short story called Money, right? Or the article called Money. And we have the author, so we put that in, source title, which comes here number 2. And then you can look down further on. When it says container, it means where's this source being contained in, right? Because this is a larger companion. There's a larger anthology at work here, right? So there's a lot of stories and articles and essays included in this book. So we have to say, what's the container, right? So this will be the container, then edited by Copeland and Julie McMaster. We can see that in number 4 right here. Version, we don't have. Number 6, we don't have either. 7, we know it's Cambridge University Publishing, so we can put that. 8, the year it was published, and 9, the page location, which will be at the bottom here, right? And so if you look down here, you'll see this is how you would cite it. By posting exactly what we have at hand, we can create our works cited page. So you can take a look at that for more help. Let's take it back to the presentation, right? Now, first step, you want to make sure you gather your sources, right? Bring them all together, electronic and printed sources, so you're ready and prepared. You don't miss one out, because missing one would show you're not really following along, you're not really helping your audience, and you're not being very credible by missing a source that you already used but you didn't cite. What might help you as well is try to place them in alphabetical order, because you'll see in a works cited page you need to list your citations in alphabetical order. So that might help you already from the start. Number 2, you can use the MLA chart I just showed you to complete your citation, or you might find option 2 more to your liking, right? We can use the citation generators provided in Blackboard. This is quite popular with college students. Let me just show you Scribber for right now. I think that one's really user-friendly and helps us with what we're trying to do. So this is the site that you'll get to with the link. Particularly what I think is really important is this part right here, where it talks about works cited. Now, this one's really great for college students because we do have that chart from the MLA, but this helps us simplify it, right? So let's pretend we have a journal article that we found, and it has one author, two authors, the year. Do we have the date? Do we have the year, right? We can put the date. Maybe we just have that. Maybe just the year. And then most likely you're going to go here to online. You found it online somewhere. So all we would have to do as students is look at our article, put the first and last name of the writers, right? We do alphabetical first, so Williams would go last and Swan would go first. So we'd put that. We'd put the actual title of the article. Where is it contained? Well, it's in Scribner, right? Volume 1, number 3, whichever one. The year it was published, the pages, and then we could set that up and have the URL right there for us, right? So I think this is really helpful. For instance, let's say we wanted to take a look at this article I used in one of my essays. So of course, I could start filling this out for myself. We see Chris Smith is the one author, right? And this would be an article on a website online. So I would go here, go to web page, one author, the year, we do know the year, and I would just fill in exactly what I needed to put there. So Smith Chris, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, MLS. I put where it's from Forbes 2019, and then I put the URL, right? So that's an easy way to do it. The other way to use this is to use the URL link, right? So we can do, you would copy your URL link, right? Go back to the site we were just on, and you'll see a little bit below here. You can click into here, paste it, you can hit cite source, and it'll take you to an auto-generated citation, which in case it's been cited before, it'll be here. If not, you'll have to do some work and actually cite it yourselves. But for most part, you can see if they do find it, you'll find it right here, and you can just click into that, and it'll automatically start filling in the parts that you want. So title, there it is. URL, you can have that one. Forbes, yep, that's right. Authors, yep, we only have one, Chris Smith, so we have that. The publication date, we have that. We don't really have a publisher, that's okay. And we just hit the green button here, cite source, right? So we would have, you can see I've already done this one, but you would have Chris Smith, right? So we could take that and copy it and then put it into our works cited page. The other source that I would ask y'all to check out is this Columbia College MLA Citation Guide. Here you can find an MLA sample paper template, but what's really helpful is their big list of citations. What kinds of citations? Advertisements, books reviews, class notes, encyclopedias, images, journal articles, magazine articles, etc., right? So you can go into any of these and take a look at what you're trying to look for. So let's look at newspaper articles. So for instance, this is from a database, right? Newspaper article from a website. So the same thing we just did with the Chris Smith article, we could find right here. We would put last name, the title, where it came from, which was Forbes, the date, and then of course we'd have our website, right? So this is helpful in that sense. This is another one you can look for in case you have some kind of very rare or strange kind of source that you need to cite. So this is helpful in that instance, right? Okay, so let's go back to our PowerPoint. So those are the two sites. Then what you need to think about is creating your works cited page, right? So it's the last page of your essay, so make sure that you go all the way down, create a new page. It's the same format as the rest of your essay. You should have a page number. You should have the same font, margins, all that should be the same. You want to put works cited in the middle as the header, right, as the title of that page. And you want to order your citations in alphabetical order using the author's last names, right? If you have multiple authors, you would use the first author that's listed or the one that is given, has the first last name in alphabetical order. You want to add a hanging indent to every citation. I'm going to show you how to do that, and double space. If you would like to see a sample works cited page, this would also help you out with what that would look like. So let's take a look at that, right? Going back to this site, you can click on here and you will be able to download a sample site. So you'll see this is the person's paper, right? And you can just scroll down. This is what it would look like. Here you have the citations. They're just showing you, right, what they actually use in their essay. And then here's our sampler works cited site. So you'll see there's a student last name, works cited. The margins are still the same. The font's still the same. The font style is still the same. But here you have an idea. So you see ABC order, D, K, and P. You have your citations all listed there. And you see that this is what's called a hanging indent. Now, let me take you back to what we were talking about a second before. Excuse me. So we have this citation. Let's pretend that we want to insert it into one of our essays. So let's take a look at our works cited page, right? What we have here, we have the one that I use from the same website that we just looked at. Here's my first source, here's my second source, and let's say I have my third source now, right? So it will look like this. We can tell that this is wrong. Hopefully you can tell, right? If not, I'm telling you as a professor, you want to make sure that this is all in the same font, right? So we have to highlight this, go up top, Times New Roman. Okay, sounds good. Make sure we're in 12. All right. Now, we need to make sure that this is an ABC order. So far, so good. We can double check on that, right? Kuhn, Hoddle, Smith. All right, we're ready to go. We also need to make sure this is indented, right? It's called a hanging indent. So highlight everything, double click or right click, hit paragraph, go up here where it says special, you want to hit hanging, right? And then you also want to hit double space. So by doing that, you now get your work to look the right way. So you want one line, okay. And now we have what we wanted for our works cited page, right? So you'll see that there's that space right there. All of our citations are listed in ABC order. And from that point, you're good to go. You just need to double check to make sure there's anything you need to fix, right? Make sure you do a spell check, and you should be ready to go.